Hello and welcome back. I'm Mrs. Fithian, a teacher at Hebron Elementary, and I teach kindergarten. Thank you for coming back today and joining me for some more math fun. If you've been with me for the past 5 lessons, you know that the first thing we're going to do is slow down our minds, slow down our breathing, and practice with a fun breathing exercise. So let's continue what we learned yesterday. So we're going to be doing some bird breathing again today. So we're going to stand up with our feet about shoulder width apart, about this far apart. And we're going to be bringing our arms up as we take in a big deep breath, and we're going to be breathing through our belly, not up here in our chest. And then we'll let our fingers touch and hold it, and then blow the air out through our mouth. Okay, so let's do 5 of those today to really calm down and get focused. So here we go. And breathe out. Take a deep breath in through your belly. And breathe out. 3 more. Again. And last deep breath, here we go. Great job. Okay, so now we're ready to go. I will tell you we're going to spend a lot of time in our packet today, so if you don't have that nearby, make sure you grab it. You won't need it just yet. Wait till you see the icon on the screen, but we will be doing a lot in that packet today, all right? So yesterday, I showed you some objects here on the table. I had some blocks and some cereal and pipe cleaners and beads and some money. And I asked you to be thinking about what we could be doing with these as they related to what we learned yesterday. So before we see how these are really going to fit in, let's take a look back at what we did yesterday. I bet you remember the catchy song that we learned from Brainsy Games on education.com. It was talking about grabbing a group of 10, and we saw the little girl dancing on the screen, and she was trying to count all those objects that were up to 20. So I think she was counting 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way to 20, and it was much easier for her to count when she had a group of 10. So, whoops. So here we go. This is what we did yesterday. I had some dots, and we said in math we call them counters, up on the board. And we counted them and came up with a group of, do you remember? This one was 12. Good. So let's count them once today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we flipped the screen, and I showed you how we could put a circle, or a loose-looking circle, around a group of those. And how many did we actually circle? 10. We were practicing grabbing that group of 10. And so here we had our 10, and then we had 2 left over, so we trust that this is 10, 11, 12. Then we made it even a little bit more organized by throwing those into a 10 frame. And we had been working on these for a few days. So here's our 10 frame, or a frame of 10. And inside we placed those 10 counters that we saw here, and we still have our 2 left over. This is where we were really starting to understand about place value and tens and ones. Then we took it one step further and put them into cubes, just like the blocks that I had brought from home. We were showing that when we have 10 of these little guys, they stick together to form a stick or a rod or a group of 10, and that's what we saw here. And then we had 2 ones left over. So no matter how we counted this or how we arranged them, the number was still 12. And that's what I have here. Now I want to talk for just a minute about the 12 and what it means. Annie and Moby from Brain Pop Jr. helped us figure out about place value in digits. We learned that a digit can be any number from 0 to 9, and that some numbers, like 12, have 2 digits in them. This is the first digit, and this is the second. In the number 12, this 1 stands for one group of 10. Or if you like this better, one group of 10. Or if you liked this mess better, one group of 10. The 2 in the number 12, this digit, stands for the 2 that are left over. Or these 2 that are left over. Or these 2 that are left over. That's where the 2 comes from. So today, that's where we're going to spend some of our time, is looking at how we build our teen numbers, because that's really where kindergarten spends a lot of time learning about place value. and why all of those numbers have the 1 in front of them. So join me. This was an example that we used yesterday. We had 17 here. We saw 17 again with the cubes. And then I showed you all these numbers. And I asked yesterday, and you guys were rock stars and knew exactly what the answer was, about what do these all have in common. And if we look, they all have a 1 at the beginning. Now, we have a song coming up later today that's going to help us remember why these all have the 1 at the beginning. But we already know that that 1 is for one group of 10, or one group of 10. All right? So let's keep that in mind and kind of keep this visual in mind as we go on and learn why that's so important and why our teen numbers are so special. Oops. Oh, go away. Nope, don't do that. Hold on. Let's try again. Here we go. That's where I wanted to be. All right, so let's look at these groups here. And let's switch to maybe red. Okay? So how many do I have right here? Yeah, so many of you knew that already without having to count. We're trusting that when we see a 10 frame that's full, it is 10. So I'm going to put the number 10 here. And just this one time, we're going to count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I have 10, a group of 10, and how many left over? 1. That number is what? 10, 11. Good. Now if you already know how to write an 11, you could pop that 11 right over here. But if you didn't, or if you wanted to see how the 11 gets its 2 1s, we're going to take it from here. One group of 10. Now I know there's a 10 here, but we really want to talk about one group. So one group of 10 and 1 left over, 1 1, makes 11. Now I honestly think 11 is the hardest number to understand because it has 2 1s in the digits. All right, so let's move to the next one and see what that looks like. Okay, this time we have how many? This is 10, but it's one group of 10. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 1 here. One group of 10. And how many 1s left over? 2. So a group of 10 and 2 more, there's my 2, is 12. See where we're going with this? So we're going to keep building these numbers so you can see how our teen numbers build from a group of 10. All right. That. All right, let's look at this one. This is a group of 10. How many groups of 10? Just 1. So I'm going to go all the way over here and put my 1. And how many 1s do I have left? 3. I'll put that 3 over here. And when I read this, it says 10 and 3 is 13. Some of you might already be thinking, that looks like addition. And it does. It looks like an addition sentence. So these all kind of go together. And as we're learning our place value and what that means, when you see these numbers in the teens, you're going to know an addition sentence just like that. When I see 13, I know that's a group of 10 plus 3 more 1s. All right, let's look at the next one. This is a group of 10. And how many groups of 10? Just 1. Put the 1 here. Ooh. And how many 1s left over? 4. So 10 and 4 is 14. All right, a little bit more practice as we build up through our teens. So we have here a group of 10. And remember, we're trusting that every time we see it. So I'm going to put my 1 down. This 1 stands for just one group. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1s. I bring my 5 over in the 1s place. And this is 15. Read this with me. 10 and 5 is 15. Very good. Let's look at the next one. I bet you already know what number this is, but let's see how we build it. We have a group of 10. So here's our 10. And it's only one group of 10. So my 1 goes over here in the 10s place. And then I have 6 1s. I put my 6 over here in the 1s place. And it's 16. 10 and 6 is 16. Let's look at this one. A group of 10, very good. Whoops, 10. All right, I'll put my 1 down for one group of 10, and let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's my 7. Put my 7 in the ones place, and our number is 17. So we could say a group of 10 and 7 more ones is 17. Oops. All right, last one on this screen. A group of 10. Yep, we already know we're going to put that 1 over here to show we have one group of 10. And how many ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And bring our 8 over here to the ones place. And so one group of 10 and 8 ones is 18. Now I bet you can guess what the last one's going to be. All right. We have a group of 10. I'm going to bring a 1 all the way over here. Remember that 1 stands for this one group of 10. Even though we have 10 little ones hiding inside, it's just one group. And how many ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And a 9 here. So a group of 10 and 9 ones makes 19. Good. Now, there's another one here hiding behind this gray box, but I've got a star beside it because we're going to do something a little different. It's actually going to be our challenge for the day. But before we get there, I want to take a look at a little song that's going to help us. This is one of my very favorite YouTube channels. It's Harry Kindergarten. He also has a lot of wonderful songs that you can check out, not just for math, but I think these are great. This is very catchy, and it's going to reinforce what we just learned. Now, before we get there, you're going to see that he is using our blocks or our cubes or our rods and units, however you want to call these, like I have here. He's going to be using those instead of the 10 frames, and that's totally fine. We could do this whole chart again using the blocks, but we're not going to do that because he's going to do it for us, okay? So let's check out his song about numbers in the teens.
Locating numbers with a group of 10. Come on, everybody, let's sing it again. Numbers in the teens have a group of 10. Come on, everybody, let's sing it again. Numbers in the teens have a group of 10. 10 is a group of 10 and 0 extra ones. 11 is a group of 10 and 1 extra 1. 12 is a group of 10 and 2 extra ones. 13 is a group of 10 and 3 extra ones. 14 is a group of 10 and 4 extra ones. 15 is a group of 10 and 5 extra ones. 16 is a group of 10 and 6 extra ones. 17 is a group of 10 and 7 extra ones. 18 is a group of 10 and 8 extra ones. 19 is a group of 10 and 9 extra ones. Come on, everybody, let's sing it again. Numbers in the teens have a group of 10. Come on, everybody, let's sing it again. Numbers in the teens have a group of 10. 10 is a group of 10 and 0 extra ones. 11 is a group of 10 and 1 extra 1. 12 is a group of 10 and 2 extra ones. 13 is a group of 10 and 3 extra ones. 14 is a group of 10 and 4 extra ones. 15 is a group of 10 and 5 extra ones. 16 is a group of 10 and 6 extra ones. 17 is a group of 10 and 7 extra ones. 18 is a group of 10 and 8 extra ones. 19 is a group of 10 and 9 extra ones. Come on, everybody, let's sing it again. Numbers in the teens have a group of 10. Come on, everybody, let's sing it again. Numbers in the teens have a group of 10.
All right. I love Harry Kindergarten. He has such great songs. And that one will be stuck in your head the rest of the day, I promise. So let's take a look here. I want you to turn in your packet, and we're going to be thinking about what he showed us with those groups of 10 and then adding the extra ones for our team numbers to kind of help us move through our packet. And like I said, we're going to spend a little bit of time together in the packet today just for extra practice. So let's look here. We are on page 12, which is day 6, and we're going to kick it off with a challenge today. So let's look at the 2 rods or sticks that we have. Now this is not a number that we have tried yet. Okay, so I'm kind of giving this away, but let's count or see how many groups we have. Now we're trusting that there's 10 in each group. So if I mark through here, this is 1 group of 10 and this is 2 groups of 10. Okay, so what do I do? Well, I usually like to write out next to this. This is 1 10 and this is another 10. Okay, or I could have just put 2 10s. So if it's 2, for my 10s place, I'm going to put the 2 here. Now what? Can I leave it like that? I heard some yeses and I heard some nos. Okay, technically no, I can't leave it like this, because if I showed you this number on a flashcard and said, boys and girls, what number is this? You would tell me it's 2, which we know means 2, 1, 2. And that's not what we're seeing here in this picture. We're seeing 2 groups of 10. Now you probably already know how to count by 10, so if we did that, that would be 10, 20. So I need to put something after the 2 to show that in the ones place I don't have any ones. And how many ones are there right here? None. So what number shows us none? 0. When I put the 0 here, that's what changes from 2 to 20, all right? So let's keep that in mind because we're going to see that again later. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to switch colors to make it a little easier for you guys. I have a full 10 frame here, so that's 1 group of 10. All right, so I'm going to put my 1 here for 1 group of 10. And how many ones do I have left over? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to put 6 ones. Now again, you don't have to write this out on the side. I just like to practice what I'm saying, okay? But you certainly can. I put the 6 here for 6 ones, and that number becomes 16. If you think back to Harry Kindergarten's song, 16 is a group of 10 with 6 extra ones. Okay, so totally makes sense. Let's take a look at the next page. Now, there are 4 of these. Pages 13 and 14 have 2 more problems apiece. We're going to work through these together so you can see exactly the steps you could take to make this a little more helpful, because if you notice, I start to see plus and equals, which I know is bringing my mind towards addition and some number sentences, so we're going to see how those go together. All right? So let's look. How many groups of 10 do I have? 110. So I'm going to write 110. But now I'm going to take it a step further. I should probably put my 1 over here. There's my 1 for 110. But how many ones are locked inside that group? When I put my blocks together, how many ones were inside of here? 10. So we're going to use that 10 in this box. All right? Now, how many ones or cubes or units do I have left over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's my 6 ones. I'm going to bring my 6 over here before I forget. And how many ones are in 6 ones? Just 6. So I'll put that here. Now, I know that this represents the number 16, but I also know now that 10 plus 6 more ones equals 16. So you see how we're starting to connect everything that we've been learning and what you learned in the classroom? So we have addition, we have counting, we have place value, moving on, groups of 1, groups of 10. So they all kind of go together. Let's look at the next problem. All right. Now we're going back to our 10 frames. Remember, we can use either one and it's totally fine. Let's do our group of 10 here. I see a full 10 frame, so that means 1 group of 10. I'm going to put my 1 here. And if I drop that down, how many ones or little counters are inside that 10 frame? 10. So let's put our 10 here and get ready for some addition. Now, the ones place, There's a 10 frame, but it's not full. There's just 1, 2, 3. So I'll put my 3 over here in the 1 spot. I can put 3 ones right here and bring that down to 3. A group of 10 plus 3 more equals 13. And if you think back to the song, 13 is a group of 10 and 3 extra ones. And that's what the picture showed as well. Great job. All right, let's look at another one. We have back to rods and cubes. So we have one group of 10. So that's 1, 10. Your paper probably doesn't have this either. I'm missing something. It should say equals and a box. Sorry about that. You can write that in. So we have 1 in the tens place. We know that inside that group of 10 are 10 ones. And then let's count our little cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 ones. I put my 8 in the ones place. I bring my 8 in here. A group of 10 plus 8 ones is 18. Voila. All right, let's do one more. All right, this one. Oh, let's use gold. All right, how many groups of 10 do I have in the 10 frame? Well, 1 full 10 frame, you're right. This is bad wording on my part. 1 group of 10. Inside that group of 10, or inside that group, I have 10 ones. And how many ones do I have left over? Just 1. 1, 10. I put my 1 here, put my 1 here, and a group of 10, and 1 extra 1 is 11. Okay? Great job. Now, we're going to move on to this challenge. I told you that I'd come back to this because it's a little tricky. We already did this on the first page of our homework together, so let's see if you remember what number this might be. I'm going to move this out of the way. So, how many full 10 frames do you see? How many groups of 10? Yeah, I heard 2 different answers, and you're right. The way it's set up is kind of tricky. I heard someone say 1, and you're right, and I heard someone say 2, and you're also kind of right. So here's why. I only have 1 10 frame filled, right? So this is a group of 10. I'm trusting that this is 10. But when I go over here to count my ones, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's another group of 10. It's not in a 10 frame, so I didn't see it quickly, but it should be, right? So we need to make that a group of 10. So let's pop a 10 frame around it, and now let's count. Oh, this is 1 group of 10, and is another word for plus. This is another group of 10, is another word for equals, so 10 plus 10. Or if you didn't want to do it as addition, I have 2 groups of 10, so I'm going to put down my 2, and we talked about this very early in the lesson. I can't just leave it a 2. What do I have to put behind it? A 0. The 0 shows that I don't have any ones left over. So this is 20. Remember, place value. Here and here. This is the ones place that talks about how many ones we have. So in the number 20, I don't have any ones left over. This is the tens place. The 2 tells me that I had 2 groups of 10. Okay? You guys are rock stars. You've been hanging with me all day, doing a great job. Whoops, that is not what I wanted. This is what I want. Okay, so we have a couple games. We have Splash Learn again that we talked about yesterday. We also have some games over at abcya.com. Excellent games where you can go in and actually manipulate tens and ones by dragging them, so you can be building numbers. It will push you to think more like a first grader, so it won't be just dealing with our teen numbers. So you might want to have some help, or you could sit with a sibling, but it's good practice. And then we also have some over at education.com, which is where our video this morning or yesterday morning came from, Brainsy Games. That's their website. You can create a free account or create an account and play some of these place value games. Excellent websites. You also can make your own tens and ones at home. Now I stuck a few pictures in here to kind of help in case mom or aunt or anyone at your house wants to take a picture of the screen, or you can just listen and see what I brought from home. So I want to show you. First on the list are beads and pipe cleaners. So that's what I have right here. And if you guessed this already, you're right. I have these little beads here on the table. So let's count out 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now these are not like blocks. They don't stick together. They actually will make quite a mess. So I'm going to use this pipe cleaner or chenille stick, whatever you call it, and I'm going to put my 10 beads on here. Try to do it rather quickly. And once I get 10 on here, this is what I'm going to start trusting as my group of 10. I'm going to know that I built this group out of 10 little ones. So then I can practice making numbers. I'm just going to bend the ends over so they don't fall off. And this becomes a group of 10, and here are my ones. So if I wanted to build the number 13, a group of 10, and 3 extra ones. See how you can do that? Just be careful, these roll all over the place, and they could be a choking hazard if you have anyone smaller or younger in your family. All right? Next, I have cereal and pipe cleaners. Same idea. I just used Cheerios or Tostios or Fruit Loops, whatever you have. You can put those on there. So here is a group of 10, and then these would be my extra ones that I could be using. All right, so you can practice building these at home. I also have the blocks that I used today. So here was your group of 10 and your extra ones. So you could show a number that way. Then if we wanted to really push our brains, I did bring some money. Now, you could do this with or without knowledge of what a penny or a dime means, but here I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When I get to 10 pennies, I don't really have a way to attach all these together. I could stack them, but that's going to get a little tricky. But this could signify my group of 10, or I could trade them in for a dime. Sometimes I'll just put the dime on top, so I know that this is 10 that I've already counted out, and then you could have extra. Or you could just trade those in for a dime and know that that's a group of 10, and those would be some extra ones. This one's a little tricky because you can't actually see the ones hiding in here. You just have to know that they're there. But these other options are great ways for you to practice at home. Now, besides just building that, how could you really use this? On one of the last pages in your packet, you have those numbers that we use to make our number line from 1 to 20. You could cut those apart or use flashcards or just write the number on something else or post it. And you could flip over a number and maybe say the number 14. And you could think, okay, 14 is the 1 stands for a group of 10, so here's my group of 10, and 4 extra ones. And you could make 14. You could also do it the other way. You could build something. Let's use our cereal this time. I'm going to build this. So that's 1 group of 10 and 6 extra ones, so that would look like what? 16. And then see if you can find the card out of those numbers I gave you and put the 16 next to it. Okay, so wonderful way to extend the activities at home. I hope you check out the websites I've mentioned. I hope you go back to those YouTube channels. Today's code word today is ones. Yesterday we did tens, so today we're going to do ones. O-N-E-S. And thank you for hanging out with me again today, and I'll see you next week. Bye.